welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the quick little time lapses. Paint wasn't really what I was trying to do this week, paint removal, although it's still important. I'll probably be doing a little bit of that every week. But I've been trying to get into plaster, but the weather got cold and it made it impossible to do it midweek. So I'm gonna start that process today. Today is Saturday, and let me show you what we're about to do today, because it's new and at least exciting for me. So let me show you. So this wall is the wall in question. As you can see, we got some damage, some old stuff here. And then as we go down, now that's all lit up and you guys can see, there's some pretty big cracks here. There's a really big crack right here around this line. Of course, it's right in the shadow area, but that's pretty severely cracked. And so the way we're going to fix that before we apply our new plaster, which we're going to surface plaster this whole thing, is with this stuff here. Plaster washers. So we're going to mechanically adhere the old plaster back to the lath with this stuff here, and I'm going to countersink it with this guy here, a paddle bit. If you guys do use a paddle bit, know that you will ruin this one because these are not really for masonry. But to countersink them so I can go over with a new plaster and not have to fight with these things, it's a good idea, but just buy a new one. That way you don't ruin your others. Some drywall screws down there. And the other stuff I've got to accommodate what we're doing is right here. Now I know some companies sell specific stuff for this, like plaster adhesive or whatever, but if you can read on the bottle, it does do for plaster. Permanently bonds, concrete plaster, stucco to existing, you know, whatever. So we've made a mixture of it. We're going to use it in a spray bottle. We're going to drill holes into the plaster, and we're going to shoot this stuff in there. And then after that, we're going to use that more as a primer. Then we're going to use this power grab, heavy duty, and shoot that into the holes. Then secure it with the screws and the plaster washers, and that will give us our chemical bond. So chemical and mechanical, we should be good to go. Now, as soon as we have all that secure, tomorrow, once we come back, we're going to start the plaster process with some stuff called Structolite. So let me take you down there and I'll explain and show you guys that. So this here is the stuff we're going to use. It is a gypsum-based plaster. Name of it Structolite for you in Britain. I'm not sure what this would be called for you, Thistle Hardwall, something like that. But essentially, this is a base coat and then you put a lime veneer on top of it. The reason I'm not going like the super old school route of making like a lime slaked or lime putty plaster is because it takes a long time for the lime to slake, as it's called, and time is not really a lot of something I have right now because I'm trying to get in here. The second thing is this is actually a stronger material. It's actually better for R value as well, so insulation wise it's a little bit better. It's also better for soundproofing, and it's a whole lot lighter and cures a whole lot faster. They actually started using this stuff in about 1900, so I'm about 10 years late for the party, if you will, considering the house was built in 1889-90. But this is an easier solution. It's a better solution in my estimation anyways. So yeah, this is what we're going to use. We're going to skim coat basically every wall in the house with this stuff here, including the drywall that I do. I'm going to use blue board and we're going to do this. So everything's going to look like it's plaster, even though some of it's going to be drywall. And then we're going to use a, well, I'm not sure exactly what veneer coat we're going to use, but I'm going to find the best veneer coat I can. And we'll use that for that, and then get a veneer coat and put it on top of that. Also, because we're trying to be, well, to hide cracks, first of all, and we're trying to make the walls as nice in appearance as possible, I'm going to be using this stuff here, which is just, you know, mesh that you would find in like a screen door. It's just fiberglass mesh. I just bought a big roll of it. You know, any screen door or window or anything like that has this stuff on it. And essentially we're going to embed this into our Structolite, which will help resist cracking and also make it stronger. Essentially it's like rebar and concrete. And because plaster, when it dries, essentially becomes a stone, this will be better. And when we do our lime veneer, our lime wash or lime putty veneer, lime is actually a really great resource for like houses because it actually sucks up and cures with it sucks in carbon dioxide. So it's actually a really healthy material. So that's why we're not just doing straight drywall. If you have plaster, it's a really good idea to keep because it's a really, really great material. It's healthy, it's eco-friendly, it's just wonderful in general. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so the plaster washers are in. Let me show you guys what it all looks like. So here in the maid's hall, looking down this way, you can see the area we've done. Now I know one of the questions is going to be, why didn't you do it for like this crack or some of the other higher cracks up there? I've pressed on all this. It doesn't seem to be loose enough to require the glue or the screws, whereas this piece was coming out in chunks. So let me see if I can get you guys far enough back to really see what we've done here. You see this was all cracked real bad. And of course it's worse now that we've done this, but it's much more solid now because we've got glue back in these holes. Everything's being pushed and pulled back. You know, it's all together now. So we're gonna let this dry until tomorrow. I'm gonna pull a few of these back out because the reason I've used that paddle bit was to make them flush. So when I go to float over this, it won't be a problem. So that's essentially what's going on. That's what's happened today. I would do more of these today, but I've got hockey tonight, so it is what it is. And I had to help my father again this week with his house. Last week, I promise, guys. And I didn't have as many days as I'd like here. But so there's that. And then I know I didn't show it, so let me show you the door I was working on. This is the door to the bathroom. So I've cleaned it all up here on the outside. And I've started on the inside, but there's not a whole lot to show there really. And then the transom window is just hanging out here. So he needs a good clean, but we'll get to that. Say hello to Kim. Hi. I know a few of you guys are going to be interested in how I'm going to get up to there tomorrow. Well, easy. I'm going to be using a ladder. Not actually this ladder. This ladder is a little lower than I need it to be. But I'm going to secure it against the stair here. Lean it up against this wall so it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to be putting my pick, which is right here, across from that ladder over to another ladder here at the top of the stairs. So make a bridge essentially, and that'll allow me to do the top bit of floating up there. And so this whole wall, all the way from there, all the way down to there, is all going to be done in tomorrow's activities. So yeah, that's what we got going on for tomorrow, guys, and we'll see you then. everyone, and welcome back from Time Lapse City. Let me show you guys something I'm actually kind of proud of. Let me show you guys the wall. So here in the maid stair, we have the wall. Now this is just the top coat right now, or the brown coat, scratch coat, whatever you want to call it. Of course, I didn't put any scratches in this because the diamond veneer, lime veneer that I'm going to use on this doesn't actually require a scratch coat, let's say, unless it's over a certain thickness. But as you can see, I've left it rough. Well, I mean, I've got all my trowel marks out of it. There's no trowel marks left in it, but I didn't get like aggressive with it and make it perfectly flat because this gives it something to key into, to bind to. And there'll be more suction because, you know, this dries to a stone, so when you wet this stuff, it'll actually suck back into it. But I'm pretty impressed. I like it. You know, first time doing like a skim coat like this, so, you know, I'm happy with it. I mean, there used to be that huge crack right here, all those washers in there and everything, and you can't see any of that anymore. That's completely gone. Let's come down here and have a look. Let me turn back at it so you can see. Those lights you're seeing, or those lines you're seeing, those aren't actually in the wall. That's the LED up there casting some funny shadows. But you can see right up the wall. It's actually pretty high up there. And of course, the way I had my slide rail or pick or whatever you want to call it, that wooden guy that I was standing on, the way I had that set up, I don't recommend it unless you have some pretty good balance. I know it's probably not OSHA approved, let's say, but then again, what in the DIY space really is? It'd be better to have some masonry scaffolding, the narrower type, but I don't have any of that. I have some of the wider type, but it doesn't fit in the stairwell. So that's what I had, that's what I used, and it worked out pretty well. I definitely wouldn't work on something like that alone. I had Kim here all day, she just took off, but so that's what happened there today. Quick little find I think that'll be fun that I didn't show you guys earlier is that the maid's bathroom here, you can see bathroom, this is the little closet here. So even this little teeny tiny door with these little narrow panels, even he, or she, depending on which way you want to go with it, is the curly pine. It's kind of hard to see, but there you go. Same stuff as all the doors. It even matches. I think that's pretty incredible. Like, you know, the details matter, I suppose. And the Browns, they did it right. They definitely did it right. So here in the coming next week, I'm hoping that I can get the veneer coat on this guy, get a few more of the walls here in the maid's hall, all done and complete. And then I'm going to try to tackle this wall here as well in the bathroom. Sorry, let me lighten it up. There we go. So this wall here around the window, so all the way around. Shine it right into the light. You guys can't see anything. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do next week is get all of that set up and corrected and done. Should be a fun one. And I'll learn how to do the plaster on brick and not just gluing and veneering it on here. A couple of things really quick also, guys, because I know I'm going to get comments about it. I did use adhesive on this wall, so it is glued to it. I didn't have my camera set up for that, but I use a Hudson sprayer or, you know, like a water sprayer. And I, you know, because the glue I have is concentrated, so I thinned it out with water and sprayed it out over the entire wall twice, once last night, once today. Let it dry for 2 hours, 3 hours, so it had time to cure via the directions on the bottle. And so, yeah, this should stay for another 100 years. And again, for anybody who is, you know, weirded out by the fact that I'm using, let's say, a modern-ish product for this. It's actually not that modern. I think I might have mentioned it before, but this stuff came around in around 1900. Not by the name Structolite, but it was basically gypsum plaster is what this is. So if you have a house from 1900 or after that has plaster, it's probably, you know, a gypsum base at least. So, you know, it might not be 100% historically accurate to this house, but it's also, it's a lot less heavy, greater insulation. There's a bunch of positives to it. And the fact that at the end of the day, it is also easier to do and much easier to get materials, and it dries a lot faster. So I can do more work quicker. So that's all the reasons why I end up choosing this. I mean, it'll turn hard as a rock like plaster does. It's tough stuff. But I'm really excited about this, guys. Like, this is kind of like seeing that I don't know, that bit into the future, you know, like, oh, okay, I can see it now being painted and put back together the correct way, you know. It's kind of like when the drywall goes up in a house. It ceases to be studs and turns into a house. And so I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. It'll be a full work week for me, so that'll be much more plaster, much more stripping, all your favorite stuff. So we'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and yeah, take care.